I want to introduce the CEO of Mirror Trading International, Mr. Johann Steynberg. Johann, can you hear me okay?
Yes, morning, Troy. I can hear you.
You know, in the bottom left of your screen, it says Johan Kruger. So we got two Johann Krugers there. But I'm just letting everyone know this is Mr. Steynberg, the CEO.
Yeah, sorry about that. I actually didn't get the panelist link, so Johan just forwarded his to me.
Oh, okay, that'll work. Johan, we did an interview with you 60 days ago, and we're very pleased with what's happened in the last 60 days. Your transparency, the way your company always does things on time, puts out the reports, the trade reports, the amount of trades that automated, the artificially intelligent trading bot does is phenomenal. But and your training videos, my gosh, they're great. And so people pretty much know the mechanics behind Mirror Trading International, but what they don't know is you. They don't know who you are as a person. So if you wouldn't mind, we'd like to start off with your story, your background, the story of how you started MTI and why you started MTI. And we'll start there if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, I've basically been an entrepreneur my whole life. At the age of 19, I was sort of forced to go and study computer programming, you know, to write the programs for a network marketing company that my dad and I built back then. That was in 2002. And so, you know, moving through that, you know, gaining the computer programming skills, in the same year, starting the network marketing company, and you know, 10 years down the line, getting involved in Bitcoin, 10, 12 years down the line. So that's basically my background as a professional career, so to say. And in 2015, I got introduced into the Bitcoin industry. I bought my first Bitcoin in January of 2015. And since then, you know, we've been dabbling in all sorts of online means, especially in the crypto space, to generate income. I think in April, May of 2015, I closed the computer company that I had and went into the Bitcoin space full time. Now, as many of you know, if you're in the Bitcoin industry long enough, chances are very good that you've lost money somewhere. And you know, the same thing happened to me. In some cases, I lost a small fortune on certain programs and things that I was involved with, and also that I marketed at some point. So in February of last year, 2019, you know, I sat at the golf club, and a bunch of my friends, you know, once again, you know, told me they've lost money in some Bitcoin thing. And at that point, luckily, I wasn't involved in the thing that they lost the money in. But that got me thinking, and eventually, you know, got me to a point where I started a company. Well, just before we actually started a company, the idea was, you know, to build something or put together something where us as a group of friends, you know, can hopefully profit, make some money without having the additional risks of, you know, of losing money in a scam or a scheme. You know, I knew if you know, if we did lose the money on the trade, then, you know, that is the trading side, but none of us is going to walk away or disappear with the funds. And you know, that was the intention behind MTI, to assist, you know, myself and a bunch of my friends. And very quickly that evolved into a full-fledged networking company that we have today. You know, today we're a trading, Forex trading company with Bitcoin as a base currency. And we have a very powerful referral program attached to that.
Well, right on. I wrote down a couple of questions here that people had been asking me to ask you. Your trading team, they've been doing an incredible job. I mean, the last few weeks we've seen over 0.5%, you know, net. It's just been incredible. And again, past performance, everybody, just so everyone knows, doesn't equal future results, and it doesn't predict it either, but it's been doing an incredible job. How did you meet this trading team? How did you put it together? I mean, what's the story behind it?
Yeah, well, we had our ups and downs. We started the company, well, our first trade was actually about a year ago now. It was last year, April. Our first trade was done on the 15th of April. And back then we had we didn't use a EA or a bot like we have today. We had a team of actual human traders doing the manual trades for us. That went very well for about 3 months. You know, if I remember correctly, month one, they made a very handsome profit. I think it was 29%. The month after that was about 7%. And the month after that, for certain members, up to 80% loss. You know, it was a very difficult time in MTI. So just after that happened in around about July 2019, I was approached by somebody at my golf club, you know, knowing what the company went through with the bad trading the previous month. And this person introduced me to the software. The software was running 2 years at that time, and I had a good look, and you know, that's basically how we got onto the software and the EA that we're using today.
Very good. You know, and maybe we should introduce some of the rest of your team. If you wouldn't mind introducing them, so that everybody can say hi. We probably should have done that right in the beginning, but go ahead and introduce your team and what they do for you.
Okay, so, well, first we have Jaco Eckley. All right, so Jaco is before MTI and still today a very dear friend of mine. I met him about 5 years ago, you know, down in Stellenbosch. By the way, that's where the new MTI head office is located. So Jaco is heading up our support team, you know, and he's also the same a trusted advisor and a good friend of mine. So, but he's heading up our support. He will actually tell you a lot more about that. And then we have Johan Kruger. I actually got him into the Bitcoin industry 4 or 5 years ago, and it's been a very exciting journey for us. And Jaco and Johan Kruger, at the moment, they are heavily involved in our support team, building the structures. You know, that was one thing that MTI was lacking, was a good support team. And especially with our numbers really growing quite exponentially now, the support is a very critical aspect of the company. And these two experienced guys will head up that for us. And I think when they introduce themselves, they can just talk a little bit more about that. Thank you.
Right on.
You know, Troy, I just wanted to say that, yes, your support team is really, really great now. I mean, we get answers like almost instantly, so it's awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's the great thanks must go to Jaco and Johan. They're really doing a fantastic job.
Well, Jaco, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with MTI and where you see it in 2 years?
Good evening, good morning, early in the day. Yeah, I think MTI has got the potential to grow to 100,000 members within the next 24 months very easily. I think the number of Bitcoin that we are now attracting on a daily basis is going to help those that is binary qualified in an even better way. I'm actually very passionate about what we are doing, myself as an investor also. I'm training my wife now to start a referral program. I don't think she understands half of what we are doing here. But nevertheless, it is from a past experience doing financial investments, I found Mirror Trading International is hitting about all the buttons that one is actually looking for. And the greatest benefit is to have Bitcoin as a base currency. How far can we go to search for a company that can honestly give us a great return every day, give us peace of mind when we go to bed at night, and we all believe in the Bitcoin space in the long term. So I'm very positive. And as a person, my personal involvement is I'm very passionate about people and serving people and sorting issues out. Yeah, that's just what I do every day.
Well, right on, Jaco. It says here you're the manager of the Stellenbosch office.
Basically, I subcontract with Bell Events. Bell Events is running the office itself, and I help them, I assist them. I'm a people's person, so I'll be training the staff in the details. I'll be motivating the staff to bring out better work. Yeah, so I am actually, when COVID is finished, we'll be back into the office every day.
Right on. Yeah, I saw some pictures of your new office. It looks pretty nice.
Good.
Let's go to Mr. Kruger over there. The write-up I've got on you, Mr. Kruger, and the reason I'm calling you Mr. Kruger is because we've got two Johanns on the phone. So
no problem.
But it says here you're a crypto expert, and you know Forex trading and the commodity market well, and you're an integral part of MTI, and also backup support systems and Zendesk for MTI. I got that from Usher. He wrote that up. Talk about your integral part with MTI, what you do, and throw in some of your Forex trading experience and where you think this company is going with that.
Yeah, thanks very much, Troy. Yeah, I think I started my life as a musician and then became an IT specialist, and then just got tired of computers at one stage and decided to go into Forex trading. So I became a Forex trader for myself and also for a gold investment company that we've been running for a couple of years. And from there on, last year, September, that's basically when I stepped into Mirror Trading International. And also after, as Johan said, trying so many different things, and everything goes well, and then the company disappears. A lot of the times there's nothing wrong with the markets, there's nothing wrong, but the company disappears. So for us, trust in a company was the biggest thing. And coming from the southern point of Africa, it's not as easy as in getting your car and go driving and looking for the people, because we are so far apart from the rest of the world. So when I found out that Johan started this company, I mean, that was the same day that I signed up and I joined the company. And for me, my big passion is investment. I physically left the let's call it the marketing, the network marketing world about 2.5, 3 years ago. And I decided that's it for me. I'm just never in my life will touch a network marketing opportunity again, because we just cannot trust the people. That's it, done. There's no company that you can trust. And that's why when the guys started phoning me to say, you must get involved, get involved, get involved. And I was sitting on the other side saying, I'm just not interested. And that went on for about 2 months. And then one of the guys shouted to me, he says, but it's Johann Steynberg's opportunity. And that's the next day I was in and I put my money in, and that's where we started. Because trust for me is not in a company, but it's in who's behind the company. And when Johann's name came up with us, that's it, I'm in. And I was in the company for about less than a month and a half. And I told Johann, I said, listen, here I am. If you need me, call me and I'll be there. And coming also from the crypto environment, when I got involved in 2015, when Johann actually introduced me to the crypto market, I bought my first Bitcoin for roughly about $180. And I kept that Bitcoin specifically for a reason. I didn't use it. I did that, it just stayed in my wallet. And I sold that Bitcoin in the height of the 2017 $20,000 mark. So I've always got a proof of concept that if you want to get involved here, there's a possibility that you will buy a Bitcoin at a certain price and you'll sell it for 3,000% more. That's it. And I've got the proof. So that's what actually got me very, very stuck on Bitcoin. And I started digging into the technology and all the information behind it. And I love you guys' show. I watch you quite regularly. So first time that I'm on here, and I'm very honored, and thank you very much. But yeah, looking at mirror trading and the way forward, for me, again, I'm an investor. So for me, the most important thing of investment is, and you don't get that anyway, not even in the paper world, is if I put my investment into something, I want my investment available for me. Because if I need that fund, then I need to actually withdraw it. And in the past, they always used to say that, no, you must just put 5% of your investment in, or 5% of your available capital into an investment. And I was looking for an investment where I can put 90% of my capital into, because I want to trust the investment and I want that capital available. And I found that in mirror trading. And that's why I'm 100% invested in mirror trading. I use mirror trading as my piggy bank. It's like one of my friends call it, it's a savings account on steroids. And whenever I need my Bitcoins, I just click the button, I've got my Bitcoins. And that's how I trust the system. But I was, again, being an investor, all your money must not be in one basket. So mirror trading is, for me, currently, I love gold, for instance, gold and silver. So for me, mirror trading is buying me gold every single month at this point. So yeah, the system, as well as the back office, I've had the privilege of actually seeing the software traded and being a Forex trader. Yeah, you can't think what's in this trader's mind, because I think that is what everybody is looking for. It's not the 300 pips that you make on one day and then lose 600 on the next day, because that all Forex traders know. I see David is laughing as well. That's the standard. You make a lot of money and then you tell everybody about it. And then a week later, you lose about everything, but you tell nobody about that. Now, I always say, rather chip a little bit off the block every single day, but never lose. Now, since the 26th of July last year, the proof is there. We've got all the records to show that even though we've had the worst trading day last Friday when there was a banking holiday, we've never had one single day of loss. And then going to the support side, that's when me and Jaco actually got together, because I also know Jaco for a couple of years. And I said, listen, this thing is going to explode, and we need to have something in place that will be able to support the people. Now, I can promise you, we don't have issues in the company with support. We have a lot of training issues, because people will refer other people and then they don't train those people and that type of thing. So that's why there's a specific YouTube channel with all the training, and that we are growing on a daily basis. And we try to keep our training material as often as possible, to see if there's a new need, we create a new video, that type of thing. And Rich Simmons, also from Italy, he's an integral part of creating all that marketing material for us. But the support itself, I must be honest, and Jaco can either confirm or deny if I'm telling the truth. But the major issues that we have is not really major. It's small little things that we just need to attend and pass on. And yeah, that way it's been a brilliant drive. And I mean, I'm here for life. It's there's nothing else for me.
Well, right on. Thanks a lot for that, Johan. I mean, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to everybody listening, I'm sure, to, hear it from someone who's traded professionally. And, I'd love to get a peek at that software. I've ran a lot of different EAs. In fact, David and I are trying one now, working it every day. And, well, maybe we get 50 trades in a day. This thing that you've got, up to 500 trades in a day. I mean, I've never seen anything like it anywhere. I had a friend that worked for a big bank, and he said they had something like that.
Yeah, the trading software itself, and again, watching that piece of software actually do the trades. I think the one thing that you must remember about the software is it's not a trading bot that you can buy on SQL5 and those type of places, for the simple reason that the actual guy that sits behind it, he's got his finger on the pulse. So while the system is trading, there is a live trader, because it's his thoughts that's in that trading system. So he's actually looking at that system the whole time. And as we know, as Forex traders, the market has got life cycles. It's got certain cycles where you'll trade positively for a couple of weeks, even months. And then suddenly America goes on holiday and everything crashes. Your trading system folds and your own personal trading just goes out the window. Where what the beautiful thing is of our trading system is the trading system is not sitting there and just trading. It's trading, but it's learning all the time, and it's being taught as well by the trader, by the guy who designed it. So I think give us another 2 to 3 years, and the trader can maybe sit back and say, okay, I think 3, 4, 5 years of market changes is now programmed into the system, and that's it. That's why I think this trading system specifically, I mean, I was trading a couple of bots myself. I was involved with writing a couple of bots myself. I lost most of my money on my own bots. So that's why I say writing a bot is not just writing a bot, but with our system, it's not really a bot. It's an artificial intelligence that's actually still driven and supported by somebody that's very uniquely qualified to program that. And the skill behind this is, yeah, well, goes above and beyond.
Well, we see that. So it's awesome. I mean, like Troy said, we run some EAs ourselves, and we still can't figure out what's going on with some of them.
Yeah, money talks and BS walks, is the saying down here in Missouri. It's the show me state. And, those results being posted in the back office every day, I go down through them and I just can't believe that bot. I still can't believe, that we were introduced to this early on. We had to kiss a lot of frogs before we found a good company like this. So, hey, I almost forgot. I want to introduce one more person, and then we'll go back to Mr. Steynberg. We've got the crypto analyzer on here. Gary, the crypto analyzer, he's absolutely world renowned for his ability to evaluate a company. You can find him on YouTube at Crypto Analyzer. You just go there and type in Crypto Analyzer, but he analyzes a lot of companies. He had to get up at 2 a.m. to be on this call. Are you there, Gary?
I never went to sleep, but thank you, yeah. It's not as bad as 3 a.m. in South Africa. My goodness, I can see, Johan, your eyes are starting to blink a lot. You having trouble staying awake?
No, just had a long couple of days.
Right.
Did a lot of programming, the last 2-3 days.
How
but
is
I'm all good.
how is your server upgrade process going?
Gary, we haven't received the new server yet. You know, with the lockdowns in most countries, getting the delivery of that of the server is actually a lot difficult than we actually thought. I ordered and paid for the server about a week before the lockdown, and so I was expecting it the following week, and then the whole COVID thing happened. But over the last weekend, I did quite a bit of programming on the back end of the MTI website, and I'm sure that most people would see a dramatic increase in the speed just by the programming itself.
Yeah, I've noticed in the last couple of days it's sped up, and turning off a lot of the features like the reporting and setting them as an offline status. Has that helped you as well?
It actually didn't. You know, I disabled it and thought it would increase the speed, but it didn't make a major improvement. So I actually went and structured some technical stuff in the back in the database and also on the programming itself. So I believe even before the new server, hopefully within the next couple of days, I'll be able to enable those features without having a big impact on the performance. Great.
You know, one thing I'm really impressed with in this webinar is the fact that Jaco and Johan Kruger here, the fact that they're old buddies of yours. They, it's hard to trust. I mean, I'm a big sort of advocate of Bitcoin, but a lot of my family, a lot of my friends, they don't want to know about Bitcoin, and some of them do, obviously. But the fact that you have friends that know you, trust you, want to come and work with you, and act and be investors as well in the company. I mean, that's a tremendous statement. I think it's a great indictment from you guys. And I love your name, Mr. Kruger. So that's Kruger runs gold, and your timing. I mean, the fact that you bought Bitcoin for whatever it was, $150, and then sold it in 2017 in November at the peak. You must be, must have good prophetic skills, because I don't know a lot of people that managed to pull that off. Very, very good.
That was actually supposed to be a joke, because when I bought my Bitcoin, I bought it in South African rands for 3,600 rand per Bitcoin. And I immediately, as I put it in, and I saw one of these guys, and he said, well, Bitcoin's going to be $1,000 and $2,000 and $5,000 one of these days. And I said, well, you know what? I want to sell my Bitcoin for 300,000. How do I do it? And on our trading platform in South Africa, you can actually go put the price of your Bitcoin that you want to sell. So I put in there, I said, one Bitcoin, 300,000. And I said, sell. And well, it took me 2 years to get there. But this one day I actually opened up and I saw, well, 20,000, yay, we hit a nice big price. And I opened my altcoin trader, and there was 300,000 rand in my fiat currency wallet. So I was, wow, okay, so it works.
So you had a sell order in for 2 years?
For 2 years, exactly.
That's amazing.
I've got my next one in already. It's now currently at 1 million rand a Bitcoin. So I'm waiting for that one.
Yeah, here, I must take a note of that if you did a good job on the other one. Sorry, Troy, do you mind if I ask a couple of questions on David?
No, go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, perfectly.
Johan, I mean, one of the features I get, Mr. Kruger there was talking about people being trained, and I'm guessing the reference there was to team builders and being able to support their teams. And one of the things that I spend a lot of time with is helping people with getting their deposit in. Understanding what a TXID is, understanding how to do screenshots. A lot of people aren't even that technical. is there plans to make that process a bit simpler, so that it's just, you just send across the Bitcoin to possibly a unique address, so it's all tied up at your end, but made simpler for the user?
Yes, definitely. Over the last 9 months and more, the deposit process has greatly improved, but it's not perfect yet. The idea would be, to have this whole system, like the way we as crypto guys are used to it. When you open up your payment page, you get a unique Bitcoin address linked to your profile. You send the funds, and as soon as it got confirmations, it's allocated to your account. That's really something I'm working towards, and I expect to have it live in this year. Though it shouldn't be too long, but that's definitely what we're working towards.
Right. Okay. Cool. Like Troy mentioned about like other EAs, and today, for example, I mean, I got hit hard in another EA that I'm using in terms of losses today, and your EA performed amazing today. You got, I think it was 0.55, was it 0.6% net for us that you generated today?
That's right. I think it was 0.67 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. And again, what was mentioned last Friday, when the market took a big dump, and well, actually there wasn't a lot of trading going on, but you still managed to make a profit that day. When Mr. Kruger mentioned a little bit more about the people behind your trading bot, is there one guy sitting there monitoring that all the time, or what happens if he gets the virus, or how are we protected and from a single point of failure, so to speak, in that area?
Yeah, well, they've got a small team of guys watching it. But generally there's not a lot of human input. Actually, at this over the last weeks, no human intervention, but they do analyze the results and continuously tweak and adjust as necessary. But yeah, I have a lot of confidence in that team, and they're doing a phenomenal job. And they're getting rewarded very handsomely for what they're doing.
Cool, and so are we. I just want to mention one thing, and this is more of a kind of a to your audience who's watching this, David and Troy. Flexibility is one of the key things that I like about MTI. The fact that you've got no fees. You can, I was speaking to a guy a few days ago, and he was going, look, I want to know where to put my money. So he had a chunk of money, and I was saying, well, look, if you're not sure what to do with it, you can just park it in MTI while you're trying to decide what to do with it. There's no fees, there's no lock-in period, and when you're ready, you take it out, and whatever number of days it's been in there, you've been earning while you've been thinking. And that's one of that flexibility is tremendous. It's worth so much. Yeah, so I hope you maintain those rules going forward, because it's one of the biggest attractions that I have for MTI.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. See, when I started MTI, that was one of the things that was always irritating and disappointing in many of my previous ventures. Well, how can I put this? If we look at the last 3 weeks, I see the withdrawals in MTI has increased quite a bit. And for me, that's a very heartwarming feeling to know that in these difficult economical times, with COVID and the lockdowns and all of that, that MTI serves as a means for people to have access to their funds. They're not locked down in MTI. We hear a lot of stories about people around South Africa specifically that is so grateful for them to have the ability now to take out funds where everything else is standing still.
That's brilliant. A lot of CEOs would get a bit nervous when they see people withdrawing. So you see it as an indictment of your whole philosophy then.
Exactly. That's what MTI stands for, is to, yeah, I know it's big words, but to sort of eradicate poverty around the world. Assist the smaller guy. If you've got $1 million on investment, you should be okay. But you've got guys having that's literally earning $150 a month. An additional $20, $30, $50 a month for them is life-changing. And that is the majority of the market that MTI is penetrating, and that's providing me a lot of satisfaction to be able to assist that way.
Could I just clarify about the minimum deposit, because has that changed? Like, it was $100, but I've seen some people putting in very small amounts.
Because you don't buy a package, so to say, in MTI that you have with many other programs and businesses, you can actually send any amount of money to the system. I sometimes see guys literally putting $2 or $3. It's luckily on the admin side, the deposits are automated if the TXID and the amount matches up, so that doesn't take any of our time anymore. So there's no minimum deposit. However, to get the referral plans, benefits, binary qualified and all of that, you need at least $100, well, personally $200 to be binary qualified. And so we try to market it as a minimum of 200, but I cannot stop somebody from putting in $3 or $4 or $10. They get the exact same benefit as you that have $1 million in the system. Percentage.
As me, $1 million, great. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what we're working towards.
So, wait, crypto, Gary, you have $1 million in there? I didn't know that.
I didn't even know that either. That's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, that is mine. So in terms of like scalability, I saw it going from like 30 Bitcoin at one point, then up to 1,000 Bitcoin. Sorry, is it 100 Bitcoin? And how many Bitcoins are in there at the moment?
Close to 3,100. Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing growth. Have you been able to scale that with your broker, with the bot, with the EA? Have you had to split it and do separate accounts? How have you managed that? And is there any issues with that at all?
What I found was on the broker side, the software worked very nicely on their platform with up to about 1,000 Bitcoin. The performance, I won't say the performance, but the lot size caps and things had a little bit of an issue. So what we managed to do is currently we're running it over 4 accounts. So say an average of about 700 or so per account, and as it grows, we'll just scale from there. But I am in talks of being able to scale it in a better way, not to eventually have 50 accounts open, but to have one big account that can handle the lot sizing and things like that.
And is that down to the broker then, or to the EA?
That's on the broker's end.
All right. So if you have, like, say 3 or 4 accounts running, is there a difference in performance between those accounts? And if there is, how does that affect us? Do you balance it out across the all the members, or how do you manage that?
So I do balance it out. Take the average performance over the 4 accounts, but generally there's 0.000 something percent difference, because the software that duplicates the bot is running, the actual trading bot is running on one account, and I've got a copy of software across the other platforms, and the latency there is milliseconds, so the performance is very much the same.
Great. Jaco, do you mind if I ask, so in terms of your support queries that you have to deal with most of the time, what are the sort of top 3 issues that people face, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, there's maybe 4 or 5. Let me just go through them in my mind. I think a lot of people, when they start an account, they capture the email address incorrectly. They make an error there. So they're not getting any email. So we get a lot of changes of corrections of an email address. We do find here and there a guy that just sends us an email with a TX ID and the amount of Bitcoin it says very rudely sorted out. So we guide them back to their sponsor and to the video system so that we can train them. It's what is the point of us capturing other people's ad funds, or we don't do that. So on the sponsor level, it's very important that when you register a downline member, is that you train this person and make all these videos also available to him and take him through the process. Some of the queries would be related to the economical conditions and do we see a future for our trading self. Johan Kruger, can you think of any other major things that we regularly get?
Yeah, I think it's most of the queries that we get is more technology based. It's more for people to understand Bitcoin, as you said, and then the next part is the technology behind it, the second factor authentication and that type of thing. So a lot of people, you start talking about second factor and they don't even know what that is. So the training process of teaching them what is second factor and how to use it and why to use it. As far as I heard Johan said now in the previous meeting, that we going to the point where there's a possibility that we're going to have to force the people to have the second factor on there, because I mean, as you know, these days an email system is not really the most secure system. There are 1 or 2 secure mail systems out there, but not all email systems are 100% secure. So there will be a point where we may have to force the people to say, listen, if you don't have second factor on your account, you will not be able to withdraw, because that's a security feature to protect your own funds. But I think it's more technology based, and then of course the old thing of wow, but this sounds too good to be true. And I had the conversation with a guy on Friday that said, when I said, oh, well, we're averaging about 0.5% per day on a trading month, about 10% a month. He says, that sounds too good to be true. And I told him, I said, what you must understand is that is my reality because I'm living it. For you, it sounds too good to be true because you're not living the reality. So the guy said, well, how can I do this? I said, well, it's easy. Let's open an account, put $100 worth of Bitcoin in there for you, and then you can see the reality. And if you like the reality, you put some more money in there, you put some more Bitcoin in there, and then you live the reality. So for us, too good to be true doesn't exist because it's a reality. And I think for us, for everybody, technology is like that. I mean, the first time we had cell phones, the old people used to say, yeah, that's what we told you. That's the end of the world. Now, that's about 30 years ago. So now we are saying 10% per month. And it's not we want to or we're going to, it's a reality. So what's coming next is, I don't know. That's still too good to be true for me, but I'm getting there. It's a new reality that we have to move into.
Can I make a suggestion? You know, the 2FA with Google Authenticator sometimes is difficult for people. What if we did SMS authentication?
Yeah, that's something I really looked at. It's just a matter of getting the the correct service providers that can deal with all the different countries. That sometimes is a bit of an issue. But that's something that I'm really looking at. And, you know, out of this whole support structure that's being built, out of that also came a lot of, you know, improvements and also a bit of innovation, you know, where if my support team tells me, you know, there's a specific area people is struggling with, you know, I address that and we can change it. So a very basic, simple thing that is actually not being done in MTI is to verify your email address upon registration. You know, any other system that I'm used to, you know, you register, you get an email so that the company can see that your email exists. You click the link and then your account is active and you can go. For some reason that was overlooked in MTI. So rest assured within the next 7 days, that will definitely be a feature.
One of the problems with that though is if a lot of the emails from MTI go straight into spam. So if someone registers and they don't check their spam folder, or it gets eaten up at a higher level, like in a Hotmail or a Yahoo account,
yes,
and that person can't continue with the program. I guess you might need a video on the registration page to handle that, maybe.
Yeah, well, we'll figure something out. But that's, you know, that will resolve a whole string of support queries afterwards. You know, we get emails, you know, the guy saying, yeah, but he's not receiving his withdrawal email, or we cannot do a peer-to-peer because he's not receiving the email. And then, you know, after we had a look, there was a typo in his email address. You know, instead of typing gmail.com, it's just mail.com or gmail.co, just a human error. So I think that will solve quite a few issues, but it will create a few as well that we just need to address correctly.
Yeah.
You know, this is great. Actually, you know, with the CEO on here and the top guys on here, us giving suggestions and stuff like that, they have open ears. I mean, not a lot of companies do that, and this is great. Thank you. Troy, we have 6:56, or what, you know, whatever time that is. Did you have a couple more questions? And then there's a hand that is up that we may want to put them on just for a couple minutes.
Okay, yeah, just a couple of questions to wrap up. This is for Johan or anyone that can answer it. Can you foresee a time or kind of guess a time that you might have to limit or stop new memberships because the pool gets too big? I mean, you can kind of see it from your end, the current growth rate. It went from 1,000 Bitcoin to 2,000. You know, pretty fast, and then from 2,000 to 3,000, it was a blink of an eye.
Well, I don't see that coming soon. Not in a few years, I think, or actually many years. You know, if we take, MTI has got 3,100 Bitcoin in it at the moment. Call it $30 million, and we have that in trade. Compare that to the trillions of dollars on the Forex market. We're not a drop in a bucket. There's a lot of growth from our side to actually be considered as a big Forex investing company. We very, very small fish in a big pond at this stage.
Very good. And the last question for you: where do you see MTI in 2 years?
Well, my vision is to have MTI membership count in the millions. You know, my plan or my vision is 2 million members in 10 years. I think if all goes well, we'll reach that way before the 10-year period. In 2 years' time, probably 500,000 members.
Wow, that's, you're shooting high, and that's administrative Nightmare there. You're going to have to build another office.
Yeah, that's luckily one thing I'm not afraid to do is adapt and expand. That's I live for things like that.
Okay.
And also, Troy, if you can just mention on that, on the support side of that, we are working on a support plan. I've been in quite a few big companies with support structures that's nationalized and internationalized. So we're actually looking at just currently forming the system so that we can move international. And we'll literally have international support offices all over the world. So, I mean, the big problem is we've got people from South America that they can speak a little bit of English, but the English is not that good. So we have somebody that's assisting them in Spanish. But at the end of the day, we want an office in Buenos Aires and an office in Rio and an office all over the world where there will be centralized support for that specific country. And then if there's bigger issues, then that can be sent in through to the main office. But we'll have international support most probably within a couple of months.
Well, Troy and I would take care of the U.S.
More than welcome.
I think what we are saying, Troy, is that if we spread the administrative tasks all over the world, different time zones, we might be lucky and cover 24 hours of full-time support on the system.
Yeah.
Awesome.
John Kane, I just let him on. John, unmute yourself. You get a question. He's a big networker out of Washington State.
Sorry, I must have accidentally hit the button, but I just thank you very much for taking the time to put this call together, and I apologize if you got any background noise.
That's great, John. Thanks for saying so. All right, guys. Well, I have got, we're at the top of the hour, so we've been on here an hour. Everybody's stuck with us. I want to say thanks for getting up at 3 a.m. and 2 a.m., Gary. It's just incredible what you guys are willing to sacrifice to help us out. So we want to thank you for that.
I've got $1 million account apparently. Oh, sorry, Johan.
Well,
Yeah,
let's see how the US hyperinflation is going. It might be at $1 million very soon.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, our dollar is going to probably be worth 10 cents pretty soon. That's why we're all into Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And I, you know, with what Troy is saying, I want to thank all of you for taking the time to be on here too. This is a blessing for all of us. And, you know, Johan and your team, everyone's looking for this, especially right now. We have a lot of people that are jumping in because they're looking for not only a program, but to earn, but liquidity at the same time, because you never know what's going to happen the next month. You know, if the country gets delayed again, you know, they're saying May 15th, and then at first it was April, and then April 15th, and then, you know, May, and then May 15th, and all this. So there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, or at least here in the US, and this is really, really helping a lot of people. Thank you.